All right. Welcome to the Von Cast Show. Hope everybody's doing well. Typically, I drop episodes on Friday, but today I'll make an exception on a Tuesday. It's going up on a Tuesday. My name is Vaughn, I'm your host, and today I got Justin with me. How's it going, man?
Chilling, man.
Good. So, Justin is a breakdancer, registered nurse, and founder of Hi-Fi Kitchen. Small backstory. I've known this guy for 10 years. I haven't seen this guy in 10 years. We used to be in the same open mic soapbox back in Encino, man. It feels like you said
No
a
pop.
lifetime ago.
Yeah, it's just a different life. Well, what were you doing at the open mic? You
I
were
was,
rapping?
I was, yeah, I was rapping, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. 10
You,
years?
I, yeah, you were with you still talk to those dudes, Lorenzo and.
Not so much, man. I think everyone doing their own thing, but bro, 10 years, a decade has gone by.
It's wild.
It trips me out, bro.
Yeah.
A lot has changed. We're doing our own thing. You're doing a lot, man. So first off, how are you today?
I'm good. The weather's real nice. Um, we just got out of the rain over the weekend, so it's clearing up. It's breezy, sun's out. Um, I got an event coming up this week. I got two events coming up this weekend, same day, same time, actually. So,
Wow.
there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Thank you for
Um,
making time.
yeah, of course.
Well, we'll talk about that in a bit. But going back, so where did you grow up, man?
In Historic Filipinotown,
Oh,
born and
okay.
raised. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So for those who don't know, Historic Filipinotown is in Los Angeles, correct?
Yeah, it's in LA. It's like, between Koreatown and Little Tokyo, I guess you would say.
Okay. All right. And so I know you because you breakdance. When did you start and how did you get into it?
Um, I mean that wasn't what I was doing at the open mic. Just
Really? What? You were singing.
yeah. I had an acoustic guitar and I was singing. I was on my singer
Shit.
songwriter tip. I had just gotten out of a band and I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna
Okay.
just do it by myself.
Really? I thought you were. You must have You must have done some breakdancing at one point. That's what I remember. No.
No, yeah, I mean maybe unless we saw each other, at some other point, which I wouldn't be surprised if we did, but that's what I was doing at Soapbox.
Okay. Oh, that makes more sense. You were saying. All right. Wow. Okay, my memory's shot, man. Okay.
It's
So
been a long time, bro. So
10 years, dog. Yeah. When did you get into breakdancing?
when was what?
When did you get into breakdancing?
When did I get in? I was in the sixth grade. It was the spring of the sixth grade was when I got in. I was 11, or I was turning 11, something like that. And yeah, I saw it at a school dance, and I had never seen it in person. Um, I remember walking in and I just saw like this big circle in the auditorium and with like legs, in the air. And I was like, what the hell? So I walked up to it and I saw it. These dudes doing dope moves, folks cheering for him. Um, and I was like, dude, I want to do that. So I didn't listen to hip hop at the time. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like hip hop was very popular. And I was like I was one of the ones in my class that didn't listen to hip hop. And so, I was like, okay, cool. I could get into hip hop and I could be cool too.
What did you listen to?
uh, I was like heavy into like punk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I got into hip hop first, but then I got into emo music pretty heavy. I was an emo kid. I don't know if you remember the band My American Heart.
But if I remember what,
This band called My American Heart. It's like a Filipino
I
band.
remember them. Yeah,
Oh, dude, that was my shit, bro. People
that
confused
was
me for Larry when I
your
had long hair.
yeah,
So
man.
yeah. Okay, so when did you start singing and playing a ukulele?
Um, Bro, I only sang because I didn't want to bother people to like sing the songs that I wrote. It's not my, it's just not my thing. Like I like to write songs and I play guitar, and so
Okay.
I would do that, and I just sang enough just to get by, bro. But I started off playing drums, and I had been playing drums before I started dancing.
Okay.
And then in high school, started I started kind of coming back to it. I mean, I was dancing heavy. I was breaking heavy in high school. But I met some folks that, were into the same kind of music I was. And so we tried to start a band, um, and then years later after high school, me and my cousin started a band. And so I played drums for that band. Um, and, we released the EP. And then, after that, it kind of died down a little bit for us. And, like we just had different goals, and I was like, all right, cool. Well, if you guys don't want to do this, then we'll just go do it myself. And
Right.
so like I was, yo, like I straight up like planned like a whole ass like open mic tour in like from California to Portland. And so I went on like a road trip, and hit up all the open mics I could find during the days that I had off from nursing, all the way up until Portland. And then I drove back. So it was wild. I stopped in like Chico, California. I stopped in like Sacramento. I did a couple in um, Portland. I did the same thing too. My cousins live in New York. So I flew out to New York, and then we found some in like Philly, New Jersey, New York and stuff. Like I was just out like I was just on it, man. I was just on one. Um, just trying to do what I thought was the right thing to do at the time, bro.
No, that's admirable, man. I mean, I never toured or anything like that, but I respect that. That's pretty dope, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, you couldn't really put anything in my way at the time. I was like, I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. So,
No, that's dope, dude. I mean, like things change. I mean, I still make music. I feel like making music on my own terms and like my own pace. Obviously, have a job and everything, and priorities just shifted a little bit. But hey, I think as long as you have fun and do it.
but you still make music, like you make beats and stuff.
No, I rap. I can never make beats. I still rap. I podcast now. So it's pretty
I
cool
know, man.
balance. But
You've been going like you're like steady. You've been steady, bro.
I have. It's crazy, man. Almost 7 years, dude. Just when I can, now I've been more consistent. But thank you, man. It's been a while. Can't believe it's been 6 years. But dude, that is crazy. So you went all the way to like Portland on your days off and New York. When did you like? Did you know you wanted to be a nurse from the jump though?
Nah,
No.
I know I didn't want to be a nurse from the jump.
Okay. Tell
Yeah,
us more about that. Yeah.
yeah. I just didn't know what I wanted to do out like after, after high school. Um, I mean, I did know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a competitive dancer. I wanted to be, I wanted to break. And mm, I remember my dad signed me up for a bunch of like classes at like City College that were simultaneously that would simultaneously fulfill like transfer classes to like a, like a Cal State, and also prerequisites for the nursing program. And so I was like, all right, I'll just do that while I'm battling and stuff.
Okay.
um, so I did. Um, but what got me was like, they were like, yo, nurses only work 3 days a week. So you could still break like half the week, 4 days out of the week. Like, isn't that dope? And I was like, yeah, I guess that's kind of dope. So, so then, yeah, so I went in on it.
Nice. I totally forget that because what do you have 3 days off in a row? Is that what it is?
You could, if you want, you just like schedule it that way. You are required to do 3 days in a row. I mean, it's 3 days in a week.
Right.
So you could just like, you could do them every other day or whatever. I mean, it really also depends on, where you work and all that.
Yeah.
But,
You know, yeah, man. I mean, the idea was suggested to me. We're both Filipino. We know that a big part of our, community are nurses, which is great. I think we need more nurses. It's a very dedicated job. You got to like really enjoy it, and helping people is great. Dog, I'm scared of needles, man. I got tattoos, but I'm scared of needles. Scared of drawing blood. I got a blood test done today. I look away, man. I say, hey, I'm scared of needles. Can you? I just want to let them, I'm scared of needles. I'm gonna look this way. Gonna do your thing. I can watch gory movies. It's fine, but man, when I look at the vials of blood I have, I get a little queasy, man. I'm like, how much blood did you take? They're like, oh,
yeah.
just a few vials. I'm like, do I got to eat something after this? No, no, you're fine. I'm like, bro,
Yeah,
man, no.
yeah,
Were you ever
yeah.
scared
It
of
is a
needles,
weird
or did
thing.
that scare you? Were you ever scared of sticking other people or being stuck?
I mean, scared of it because, scared of sticking to other people because, like, I didn't want to like mess up. Um, and I had never done it before, but otherwise, nah, it didn't really freak me out. Getting stuck, I mean, I just rather not be in pain.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean,
Some good
otherwise,
sticks. Yeah, you got some good people and some that are not as good. Like today, got my blood drawn. It went so well. Like I barely felt it. It was nice. That's always
hmm
great. Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, man, I was like, oh, thank you. I could give her a Yelp, give like 5 stars. I hate when sometimes, bro, like my the vein like wiggles, and then they move it like it's in there. I'm like, I'm not mad at them. I know that's how it goes, bro. I get so anxious, man. I'm upset. That shit happens.
Yeah, yeah. What about
But
tattoos though?
it's weird. I think what it is, man, is because the needle only goes like 1/16 of an inch onto your skin, whereas the needle, when you get a blood drawn, it goes into your vein. I think that's what trips me out. You seen the needle stuck in your skin, and they gotta. I asked them to cover it because I don't want to see that, man. I get
Yeah,
lightheaded.
yeah, yeah. And I guess probably the idea of, something coming out of you, something vital that you need coming out of you is probably
Yeah,
important.
man. Yeah. So shouts out to all the nurses, man, just doing your thing, helping people out, especially during the pandemic at the height of it. Man, I salute y'all. So breakdancing, you battle on the weekends, you're a nurse. Dog, what made you like want to start hi-fi kitchen?
Mm. I mean, food has always been like a running joke in the family. Like my brothers, my cousins, we'd always be like, "Oh yeah, when we have our restaurant, we would do it like this," or um. So there's something like that, and then just growing up in LA, it's real is easy to mix food cultures. Because you're driving downtown. I mean, Hollywood, for example, on the same block, it's Little Armenia and Thai Town, right? Like,
Yes.
and so it's like, how do you not think? I mean, I let me rephrase that. I was always curious, like, oh, cool. Like, what if you put, chicken saute in a pita? You know what I mean? Like, because it's so close, or like bulgogi on in a taco, like,
Right.
and so that's just like a testament of like the melting pot that is Los Angeles, and just being curious about food. Um, uh, I've also just like been always just been like a creative kid, ever since I was young, and um, I would just kind of like already think about like what the next step would be all the time. Or like, yeah, that's cool, but how could I flip it? That was kind of just like how I always thought about things. Um, and so I would go to places and I'd be like, yo, this is really good. This tastes amazing. Like I cared about food a lot ever since I was like pretty young. I remember I'm like one of those guys that like if I have like spaghetti and meatballs, I would like make sure that there's enough spaghetti for like each meatball. Like, I would take the time to do that, or like I would always craft like the best like last bite. Um, you know, and so yeah, so just creative and curious is pretty much, what it was. I remember like I would eat a lot of like frozen food, like those packaged like frozen dinners that fucking comes with like a brownie and like Salisbury steak and like, corn or like mashed potatoes. And I always be like, how can a brownie take as long to cook as this steak right here? You know what I mean? Like it didn't like make sense to me. I would like cut out the brownie because I would like heat it up later. You know what I mean? Like, I was just always like that kid, dude. And so like, so food, food kind of ran important to me, when I was young, like, being creative about it. Um, and, in terms of the restaurant, I had been nursing for like 5 years already. And I got to a point where like I had reached the top of like the, as far as I could go in my department. So I was like capped, bro. You know what I mean? Like I was like, what am I do next? Like I'm already here. Like I can't go any further unless like I go back to school. And so I was like, all right, well, like, yeah, I can either go back to school or I could do something like totally different. Going back to school meaning like, I get my bachelor's, master's, become a teacher, become like a doctor, whatever, a doctorate of nursing or whatever, Um, and I was like, you know what? Like I did the nursing thing. I've been in this like 5 years already, and um, I'm young. I'm not married. I don't got kids. I live with my moms, and so if I'm gonna take a if I'm gonna take a leap, like right now is probably the best time for me to take a leap. Because I don't got to worry about if I had a kid and they had tuition. If I started a business and the business bounced, I would have to float over money that I allotted for tuition for my business. You know what I mean? Like there would just be too like the splash zone would just be um too important. Right. And so I didn't have that. So I was like, yo, like if I'm gonna fall flat on my face, I'm gonna do it alone, you know? And so I started just doing pop-ups, a pop-up brunch. Just, you're out with your homies late one night and it's just one of those things where you just come up with an idea. And we came up with this idea of just doing like a brunch pop-up where we would do different kinds of eggs Benedicts. And so that was my first food concept was eggs Benedicts. So what we would do is we would like trade out like the English muffin for like rice instead of Canadian bacon. We do chicken adobo. The hollandaise, we would like incorporate adobo ingredients into it, like Filipino, you know what I mean? And just kind of go from there. The first Benedict we thought about is actually like a Thanksgiving one because it was in November when we were talking about it. So we were talking about like, you know, the instead of the English muffin, it would be like a stuffing patty, and then the turkey, of course, instead of hollandaise, it would be gravy. You know what I mean? Like it was just like it just kind of like kept building from there. Um, and so yeah, because um because food had been like a conversation in my family for so long, it was just kind of like, all right, like let's just try it now. You know, I had been nursing for 5 years already. You know, I had gotten the hang of it. I had saved money. Um, and so now I was like, all right, cool. Like what can we do next? Um, so, um, yeah. And then one day, like while we were developing that concept, my mom came home once and she was like, yo, you know, there's a restaurant that's going out of business near my work. Like, do you want to buy it? And I was like, what? Like, it was like mad random because I didn't talk to my mom about it at all, really. You know, and she was just like, yeah, you know, like let's go, you know, if you want to go meet with her, we can go talk to her about it. And it's the spot that's Oi Fusion in Hollywood now. Um is was the spot. Um So yeah, it fell through. You know, I wasn't ready. Still learning. I was still learning how to cook, man. And so, um, I definitely couldn't, I definitely couldn't handle, you know, a business at that point. I was like reading books on how to like run a business. Just, I was like, you know, trying to rush it. Um, but yeah, man. So that's kind of how it was. Just like always like a busybody, bro. You know, actually, you know, before I started the nursing program, I was in culinary school.
Nice.
Um, yeah, but I dropped out. um, the nursing program told me that it would be like a 2-year waiting list. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to just wait around for 2 years. Let me go and do something. And so I enrolled into the culinary program at LA Trade Tech, but someone had dropped out early. So I could only do like 3 months in the culinary program. So, um, so yeah, it's history.
Nice, man. No, I had no idea. That's really cool, man. I remember the Ben Addicts. I remember that. That was I had the stickers
Yeah.
on my old laptop. Yeah, bro. I always wanted to go. That sounds so cool, man. Like I never the spin on it, man. Like I never really was a fan of what do they call the
Eggs,
Benedict
like
eggs? Eggs
eggs
Benedict?
Benedict. Yeah. Yeah. Like
Dude.
poached eggs.
Yeah, but when you talked about it like with Filipino ingredients, I'm like, damn, that sounds really good right now. You know?
Yeah.
Damn, that sounds
Yeah, it was
bomb.
fun, bro.
Yeah, no, that's and I really admire like the ambition you have what you're doing, man. When you know you capped out in nursing and say, let me try something different, and just always doing something different. You know, I really that's pretty cool. You're doing that. Um, okay, so like it says the dishes are an LA spin to Filipino classics. Break that down for the audience. I thought that was pretty cool.
An LA spin on Filipino classics. Yeah, and so um Hi-Fi Kitchen is named after the neighborhood. Hi-Fi stands for Historic Filipinotown. Me being born and raised in the neighborhood, I felt like it was important for me to show like what it was like to grow up in the neighborhood, especially with the neighborhood like changing, bro. Like different types of folks are starting to move in. Rent's getting very, very expensive, you know, and a lot of apartments going up. Seeing less and less Filipino folks around. And so, um, you know, I always said you can't tell folks where to live, but you can tell them about where they live. And I felt like that was like something that I was gonna do, you know, through food. Um, and so being historic Filipinotown, being in the middle of all these ethnic enclaves, I really want the menu to reflect what it's like growing up as a Filipino in LA. Like, what is Armenian food through the lens of a Filipino? What is, Korean food through the lens of a Filipino? Like what, because I would eat food from other cultures that really reminded me of things that I ate at home. They're just like slightly different. And when you think about it, it's crazy because like Philippines is an island. So like, how come you got food that represents the same kind of thing in like across the world, and so that goes back to like being like human and just like how related we all actually are, um and and highlighting or celebrating like the differences that like actually make us the same, you know um that's always fun, finding like the common thread in the cultures, between the cultures, is cool. Like that's something that like it kind of shows like, oh, we're not that different after all, and then it also serves as a bridge between cultures. There are a lot of folks that haven't had Filipino food, but they know what a taco is. So it's like, all right, cool. Like, let me get that tocino taco. Now they know what tocino is, and they're like, all right, like now they have a frame of reference once they go to like a duro duro, like a point like joint or wherever they have Filipino food next. When they see it on the menu, they're like, oh yeah, I've had tocino before, because we were able to introduce it to them. You know what I mean? But it goes both ways. Like Filipinos have never had like, let's say like Peruvian food. We have like a Peruvian dish here. You know what I mean? With like beefsteak and like tapa in it. And so it's like when they go eat Peruvian, they'll know like, oh yeah, like I've had that before because of this place, in hi-fi. Um, so yeah, LA spins on Filipino classics. Like everything is, like I approach the menu as like everything like taking LA's favorites and then just like spinning it into like a Filipino interpretation.
Nice. Dog, tocino tacos? That sounds bomb right now. I never thought those two would. What, tocino tacos?
Yeah, well, I mean, like over here we do a al pastor tocino like crossover. Yeah, because there are a lot of common threads between like al pastor and tocino. The annatto, or the atuate, makes it red. Um, they use fruit in it. They use pineapple, right? A lot of tocino ingredients or recipes that I've seen, they use like Sprite. So we would use like a pineapple soda instead, to kind of like cross that over. Just finding like clever ways to like still respect both cultures. And like, that's like the main part. You got to respect like both sides, like identifying. The fun part for me is like identifying what makes like tocino, like what has to be in there to make sure that that is considered tocino. And the same thing with al pastor. And you can never like remove those things. You can't remove those elements or else it wouldn't be al pastor, right? And then so looking at those two lists of ingredients now, what do they have in common? What do they not? And then just like trying to find ways to like cross them over from there. So yeah, we use Cactus Cooler, bro, for our instead of Sprite, just to like kind of add in that pineapple flavor. Yeah, small
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Cactus Cooler is heavily underrated. It is such a good soda.
Yo, did you know that Cactus Cooler is not served everywhere?
You know, you're right. I only see it in the gas stations. I don't see it everywhere.
Bro, like they don't sell it on the East Coast. It's only like
Really?
California, I think New Mexico, Texas, and that's it.
Interesting.
Like they don't sell that in Portland.
That's a trip. I wonder why.
It's a trip. Yeah. So like again, dude, very LA, right? Like just trying to find stuff that only folks would experience out here. Um for an experience for folks that come. And then for people that grew up here, it's like, yo, like I grew up drinking this. And it's cool. You know, you get to connect with folks on that level too. So
Yeah, man. Yo, okay. So list some of your favorite Filipino foods, and I'll list mine.
I think like Machado Caldereta, like, you know, the red sauce with the beef and the potatoes and carrots. I think, yeah, adobo. That's hard. Is it adobo? That's tough. And then sinigang's a no brainer, man. Like sinigang's up in there, pork sinigang. So yeah, so if I go pork beef chicken, then it's, you know, I get one of each main protein. Then it's pork sinigang, chicken dough, and um, you know, beef machado.
Right.
What are yours?
For me, kare kare, just because I don't know. I think my grandma makes it like it's a special thing because it takes a long time to cook. So good, you know. And then there's obviously sinigang, right? Pork sinigang, adobo, of course, you know. But I think those are my top three. I eat balut. I like balut. It's pretty good. You eat balut?
I have.
Yeah. You know, I grew up in the Philippines, so it's normal to me, and I totally get why it's a bit off-putting. Looking from a different point of view, yeah, it's kind of off, but that was pretty cool. But yeah, man.
Yo, the
Also,
first time
Filipino breakfast. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Your
man.
balut experience.
Yo,
Talk
yeah.
about
I
it.
mean, like, I think like Filipino breakfast, yo, like, what's your favorite Filipino breakfast meat? What's your favorite salog?
Man, I it's tough. I always do like long silog or top silog. That's go to or a corned beef and spam. But I do know there's a Filipino restaurant next to where I live. I just know I have to like plan ahead because I can't be doing anything after because I'm taking a nap the whole day.
Yeah, 100, man. Yeah. Longanisa or tapa, the sweet beef with the vinegar. Mm, can't, you know? And then, yeah, you're right, dude. The, the corned beef,
Yeah,
it's out of here, bro.
it's good, bro. Okay, what was like the first time you had Balut? Talk to me about that. What was that like for you?
I was in New York visiting family, and I was at Jeepney. It's a Filipino restaurant out there. Shout out to Nicole Ponseca holding it down out there. Um, they really like kind of champion that first wave, I feel like, of like this next generation of Filipino food. Um, I was out there with my cousins, and there was a table of folks who were next to me who were not Filipino. And you know, they're trying to figure out what to get. They didn't know what to get or whatever. And so they tapped me on the shoulder just to like help them kind of break it down, you know? And so I told them what was good, things like that, or what I liked, I should say. And they're like, "All right, cool, thank you," you know. And then none of which was like balut. I didn't suggest it to them or anything, you know. Kind of just like, you know, gave them my 2 cents, and then um we started our meal. They started theirs, and their their waiter brought out like a tray of balut, and there was only four of them, but there were five balut. And so to like thank me for helping them order, they bought me one. And so I had it with them. 'Cause, like, I didn't want to be rude. You know what I mean? It was my first time too. And I was like, all right, I mean, like, first time I'm with my family, you know, it's a gesture, you know, of thanks. And like, it's a whole ass experience. I'm out here in New York. So, like, I guess the time's right. So, so I had it with them.
Nice. Yeah, it's interesting. I think my aunts tell me like if you get balut, get it from like the Vietnamese fast food Vietnamese like grocery stores because Seafood City has it, but it's like pretty developed. Like the chick is pretty developed. It's kind of
Mm.
off putting. I mean, I don't know. Look, I don't want to taste like the feathers, you know. But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I
just
feel that.
down that thing quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, yo. So the event you have this week, talk to us about those. What are they?
All right, so there's two. Forest Lawn, um, in Glendale, Forest Lawn, the cemetery. There is there's a museum there, and this Saturday is the opening ceremony um for an exhibit that highlights the Filipino Angelino diaspora. And so that is opening this Saturday.
No problem.
So this Saturday, there's an art exhibit opening about Filipino Americans in Los Angeles, and we got tapped um, to celebrate that with them. So it's gonna be a big deal. 500 people. It's gonna be a lot of food. Um, so yeah, super excited about that. Anthony Francisco is gonna be there. A bunch of other like amazing artists. Anthony Francisco from like the Marvel movies and stuff. The guy that created Baby Groot. Folks like that. Um, and then earlier in the day, we have Historic Illipinos. Historic Illipinos is an event that I started to celebrate the impact that Filipinos have had on hip hop. Yeah. And my mission is to empower the Filipino community to recognize their ability to change the world. And so that's just something that's been like very like important to me. Hip hop's, played a big role in my life, and I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Um, Restaurateur, nurse, musician, dancer, without hip hop. I think it had a very positive influence in my life, and um, that's an experience that I want to share with like other folks of all ages, bro. Like not just like kids, and showing them like these heroes, but also like folks, who are stuck at their 9 to 5s, bro, at their desk jobs, just like feeling like they're stuck, feeling like they can't, you know, they don't got time to do nothing creative, or feeling like that shit passed them by. Like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, it's important. It's important to get creative and contribute in that way, to get inspired and then share that inspiration. Um, so this Saturday we're doing that. Um, it's going to be our fourth installation of the event, um, celebrating DJs, Filipino DJs in hip hop, and like you can't really talk about DJing without talking about Filipinos. Really, they've been pretty much, pretty vital to the development of the culture um, of DJing. And so, yeah, that's like that. This is the first installment of like a DJing one, but the prior three had been breaking oriented.
Yeah, no, that's dope. Those are both great events, man. That's really cool that you're partaking in both. Filipinos, yeah. DJing and Filipinos are very synonymous. Same with breakdancing. Um, yeah, 100%. Like when I think of Filipinos, they do a lot of so much in hip hop, especially DJs. Who are some of the guests or the appearances they're gonna be at the Filipino show?
Yeah, so the thing that makes Filipinos different is we have discussion panel. Um and this year, or this event, we're gonna have DJ Babu, who's from Dial Peoples, Rhythmatic, Visionaries. We have Bella Fiasco, LA, Vegas, just all the biggest parties. DJ Icy Ice, who's been an OG, since forever. Um, and then DJ Dynamics, who's somebody that I grew up with, who made it a big name for himself in like the DJ and the scratch world. Someone I look up to because, I know where we started from, and to see him up there, is like really dope. So yeah, super excited to learn. I mean, to be honest, like I don't really know a lot about DJing. Um, and so I'm excited like everyone else is to sit in on this discussion panel. And what makes like Filipino special in these discussion panels special is like, because the niche is like Filipino, like we're not starting at chapter one. You know what I mean? Like we have like a shared cultural experience already. And so when you see folks talk about like, oh, like my mom wanted me to be a nurse, for example, but instead I went to DJing, like we feel that shit on a deep, on a deeper level, because we've had that conversation too before with our parents. You know what I mean? Or like, yo, I couldn't, afford this record because we had to send money to the Philippines, and so it took me a while to save up, whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's that layer that's already kind of like peeled back, and like we can get in deeper. So
Man, I can relate, dude. Again, nursing is, you know, a big part of the Filipino community are nurses. There's definitely a reason, World War II came in, and World War II happened. And I think, America needed nurses, and Filipinos are like, oh, if you become a nurse, you get like a citizenship kind of thing. So it's just this incentive and do really well at it. But yeah, I can relate, man. I think there was that pressure to do something medical, with my career. Didn't do any of those. So I definitely, I can relate to that. Where is this and what time is this event? Illipinos. When is that?
yeah, Historic Illipinos is going on in Historic Filipinotown, at SIPA, Search to Involve Filipino Americans. That's on 3200 West Temple Street, in Filipinotown. They have a new building now, so super nice facility, and I'm super blessed to be able to celebrate it with them, because they're doing such great work, and I feel like our visions align with how we want to serve in the community. So, um, yeah, I think, I think it's going to be a fun one.
Right. Are there tickets? Do you have to buy tickets, or just you just show up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a pre-sale going on right now. Um, and on the day of, it'll be a different price.
Okay. Uh, where can we get those shirts, man? I noticed your Filipino shirt. That shit looks fly. Where do we get that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll have some at the jam. We'll have some at the jam, and then um, if you can't make it, then we'll have some available after.
They have to get some online.
And then
Okay.
we'll make sure that we have them at Hi-Fi Kitchen. So if you can't make it this Saturday, come through to the restaurant, get some,
Got it.
tocino pastor, and grab a Filipinos shirt.
Awesome, man. I think that wraps it up. Thank you again, man. It's so nice catching up. Hopefully one of these days I can visit your kitchen for real and we can catch up, man. This is 10 years, dude. I've seen this guy just, I don't know. I saw this guy 10 years ago, and it's cool to see where he's at 10 years later, man. I'm really proud of you, with all you've done, man. It's very inspiring, man. That's pretty cool.
Preach, man. Yeah, happy to do it, man. Happy to share, and if that inspires folks to do good and to uplift like their circles, like their worlds around them, then yo, that's all it's all about, Also, shout out to moms, man. My mom's like my North Star. And, the reason why I'm doing all this is to make sure that, all the sacrifices that she had made to come to a different country where she didn't have no money and didn't speak the language, all that shit pays off. You know what I mean? Like, that's like my main focus is just to make sure that, none of what she's done is in vain. And, um, it's because she's given me so much. Like, her love for me is so bountiful that, um, the only way I know to return the favor is to share it with the community. Like it overflows into the neighborhood. How much she's done for me. Um, and our parents, like you can never like pay them back. Really, there's like nothing that you could really do to to repay them for everything that they've done. So really the only way to do it is just to make sure that, you know, you make them proud and they're happy with the decision that they made to come out here.
Yeah, 100%, man. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, man. This drops today. Have a good rest of your day.